Have you bought into the myth that continuous improvement is long drawn out? Things like Lean Six Sigma projects take way too long to get done. Well, you're not the only one. And today, my guest is Marco Piccio. And Marco is a global leader in continuous improvement. He brings some expertise to us, and we're going to talk and bust that myth wide open. The rigor to problem solving balanced with the speed to get results. And I'm excited that he's here, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Gary. Well, thanks for your introduction as well. I'm very excited to be here.
It's great to have you here. Let's jump right into a little bit about who you are and your background. If can you tell us a little bit about your experience and why you're passionate about continuous improvement?
I've spent the last 18 plus years architecting business transformation and continuous improvement initiatives across global corporations in different industries, fast-moving consumer goods, automotive, machinery, and B2C services. I've really worked on continuous improvement at different levels, from the shop floor to the executives level. And what actually excites me the most about this experience I've made is helping organizations build problem-solving capabilities that becomes their competitive advantage. So it's not just about problem solving, it goes a bit beyond. And I also believe that the future belongs to companies that can embed this continuous improvement thinking, I would say continuous improvement mindset, in their organizational DNA, not just their processes.
I agree 100%. And that's one of the reasons I asked you to be on the program is the depth of your experience. Now, you too probably have experience, as I have, this people who bought into this myth that problem solving, that structured problem solving that is often connected with a Lean Six Sigma or Agile, and those is simply taking too long to get results. How do you deal with that? Do you agree, disagree? How do you deal?
I agree. And I think, Gary, this is actually one of the most critical leadership challenges that I think we all have faced across our experiences. And for sure, I faced this across my many years leading transformation initiatives. The moment the structural problem solving becomes too rigid is when it starts serving the process instead of the business outcome. We can simply put it like that. We see that the rigidity happens when teams confuse methodology with dogma. So when we are too dogmatic, it's usually not good. And the real ability of leadership, continuous improvement leaders, but also the executives, is knowing when to pivot from the I know you have heard this sentence before, I hate it, but it happens also in our world. We have always done like that. Okay. It doesn't, you don't hear that only in the shop floor. Sometimes you hear it only among CI professionals, and this is when the dogma approach happens. So we have done like that, we continue doing like that because I've been taught like that because it works. In fact, what I found is that we'd rather switch, and it's the real turning point is when we are able to switch to we do what the situation requires. So
right.
We have to embed some sort of flexibility here and leave this dogma approach more and more, because this is what is ruining what is introducing a lot of rigidity. You know what I like to think about continuous improvement methodology approaches like a framework. Like if I can make this parallel, is more about two kind of roads. You can choose to have a narrow road and force all the vehicles to drive on this road. And of course, when you have vehicles that drive that are going at different speeds, you can have very easily bottlenecks or any kind of problems, right? Even some crash sometimes. If you have an highway, you can have different lanes, and who is going faster can simply choose another lane who is going slower. They can choose another lane, the slowest lane. But what I want to say here is that if you build your framework in a way that is flexible and agile enough to contain the principles that you want to achieve, but leave the freedom to change lanes or to have different lanes, this is working much better, and it's helping eliminating this rigidity that you often have.
I like the fact that you talked about you can use the right tools for the right time. That's kind of what I heard you say is you don't have to get bogged down in the use of all the tools and the methods. You use the right tool for the job, right? I think that's kind of sums up some of the things that you had mentioned. And I like that because that's the way I think about it. Sometimes I feel that the reason it's slow is a lot of new practitioners who are going after certification, for example. They have to follow a very rigid process to get certified, and certification projects will sometimes take longer because of that need and requirement. In other words, you don't have to be certified with one project. You can get certified over several projects. You just have to show that you've been known how to use their tools, because I do feel that agility that comes with Lean Six Sigma's application of the tools is you don't need every tool for every project, right?
That's absolutely right. And the question here, I think it's not whether the different methodologies like Six Sigma, Agile, they can coexist, but it's how to orchestrate them strategically, in fact. I've learned that trying to force them into the same methodology is kind of like asking an orchestra to play, a symphonic orchestra to play jazz.
Right.
We are still talking about music. It's just not the right kind of music. So sometimes we have these. We face this issue. You spoke about certification, but this applies also to project themselves. If again, if I come back to the concept of dogma, if you have the dogma of using this was more in the past years. It's a bit less now, but when there was a big hype around Six Sigma, everything had to be done through Lean Six Sigma, and we all know that Six Sigma is rigorous, data-driven, designed in a certain way, so you have to follow certain steps, and sometimes these may simply look too rigid. On the other hand, Agile is designed for faster cycles, probably optimized for a rapid market response, and it applies better to other kind of projects.
This is where scrums and sprints and things come in, right?
If you're getting value out of this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit subscribe, and please leave me your comment, because I'm always anxious to hear from them, and I will answer every comment.
The whole idea of continuous improvement isn't to maybe do a big massive project. It's to make small incremental improvements as you go, and the tools that you need to help you achieve those small incremental improvements. And so the tools of Lean Six Sigma, for example, hypothesis testing, you're testing, type A against type B, or this improvement against that improvement, and then quickly determining which path you want to go down. You talk about the path and the highway. You said, you go down a small road and you can get a lot of congestion. You go down the highway. Well, sometimes these tools can help you get on that highway, right?
Yep, absolutely. And look, there is also a different approach. For example, that I experienced. You really cannot use, or it's better not to use a certain tool with certain kind of projects. In my recent experience, I had to develop a quality framework within global consumer care. And here we have kind of regulatory compliance to respect. This is not negotiable. So here it's more suitable for Lean Six Sigma approach. While when we talk broadly about customer experience optimization, sometimes in many projects, I found that to have a rapid market feedback on some new implementations, we need more the iteration approach that is let me say, more aligned with the agile sprints and the agile philosophy. So it really depends on what you are facing, and you know the tools, right? You have a toolbox, but it's not about using the full toolbox all the time for the same project.